management plan, and we have received for forest department out of 20 crore, around 3 crore fund we have received in the initial phase. So out of that, like major activities like forestry activities we have undertaken, and the rest amount, for the rest amount we have sent requisition this month only. The present status of read petition is that to maintain this 11-meter RL, the water covers is around like 525 hectare area, but the Ramsar area is only 240 hectares. So here those fishermen, they cultivate paddy in the periphery of this declared Ramsar site. So if we go for this 11 meter, then there is always this conflict with the fishermen communities. So, but like since it's court order, so we can't do anything. Then the same thing. This is the latest thing that the RL is 9.5 at present, and it is covering area around 120 hectare only. And if we raise the water area till 9.8 meter RL, then it will be the 240 hectare. That is the actual Ramsar site. And this we can see that out of outside the 120 hectare area, there are those fishermen, other than fishery activities, during winter period only, not throughout the year. During winter, when the water level is very less, that time they are cultivating paddy. So this is the main issue in brief. In winter period, water area is available at 120 hectare area, and court wants to maintain this to 11 meter, which is like around 520 hectare area, but actual Ramsar site area is 240 hectares, so like another 250 hectare area, people's area will be submerged by if we follow the court orders. Then further I want to say that like as a forestry student, like we know there is ecological succession is taking place always. So in Rudrasagar is very small, like compared to other Loktak lake or any other, it is only 240 hectare area as Ramsar site. So, and like it is said that forests are the lung of the earth and wetlands are the kidneys. So its purpose is to absorb this silt and discharge the clean water to the society or through river. So whether it is like wise decision to desilt this in this small area, like 240 hectare. Even I'm a bird watcher, then I feel like that, as sir said, that water hyacinth is one of the major issues. In Rudrasagar also, water hyacinth is one major issue, but like during winter, migratory birds, they are visiting this lake and they are laying eggs in those water hyacinth. If complete eradication of water hyacinth, then I don't think that migratory birds, they will visit that next season. Even like desilting whole silt from the, as I can see in the integrated management plan that around 70 crore has been placed by PWD department for only desiltation purpose. So that means that I think they are planning to desilt whole area of the lake. So in that way, the aquatic weeds as well as aquatic fish, they will get disturbed. So maybe expert, they can tell whether desiltation, up to what extent it is permissible or possible. That's all. Thank you.
So I have a question. This 240 hectares is not a small size. Just take out from your mind, you know. Okay. We have very, very small Ramsar sites also and wetlands also in the entire country. Recently, one of the Ramsar sites designated in Goa is a very small size, you know, but still it's a Ramsar site. So it all depends on the, the ecological character and the biodiversity it supports. So the size does not matter as far as the importance of wetland is concerned. Of course, it matters in terms, for other things, but not for the.
I'm telling, it's small quantity of small size, cover like 70 crore for desiltation in 240 hectare. In that scale, I'm telling it's quite small. And like, if we desilt with that amount, we can dig up all out from that lake.
So desiltation, as you rightly said, that desiltation, it may not be necessarily required also in all the wetlands. Wherever siltation is going on, there will be certain wetlands where actually there will be natural phenomena through which the siltation is happening, And if those siltation are not leading to any ecological degradation, then it has to be left like that, So it all depends on your IMP and the studies, what they indicate, and the desiltation required or not, what kind of fund required or not. So we have to approach from that angle rather than, as a general. And of course, water hyacinth also, if it is required for the migratory bird to come in, then of course we'll have to leave that,
Sir.
So again, it all depends on the natural character of the wetland, and we have to follow that natural character. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other question? Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Now I call upon the representative from LDA to give presentation on Manipur.
What he has presented earlier?
So this is only for Loktak Lake.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Like Sikkim, I've also strictly followed the instructions and compressed it into 3 slides only. So I won't take much time, but I just want to give a brief overview of what we have been doing in the last 3 years, not beyond it. When you talk about interventions for conservation and management of wetlands, in fact, our intervention is confined to land management, water management, and managing the various components of society. Society, when I talk about society, it is about not only the human society, but also the plant society and the animal society. So, water management, we have been removing weeds and fundi from the central zone to maintain a semblance of balance, because Loktak, half the area of Loktak is covered by fundi naturally, and half the area of the lake, the central zone, is naturally open water area. So we have to maintain this balance, and if it is not balanced, it will turn into something like a marsh ecosystem. So we've been removing fundi, and we have been maintaining the hydrological processes by de-weeding and desilting the drainage channels within the wetlands. And we have been doing some catchment conservation work also in the last 3 years, because last 3 years we haven't had a big project. So with little bit of financial support from the state government, we've been doing some maintenance work just to keep the ecosystem, maintain the well-being of the ecosystem. And in terms of human society, the community livelihoods, we have been it was recently completed only during the G20 event. We have developed, tomorrow we'll be going there and see the lakefront facility and the garden, lakefront garden, and we have also improved the floating jetty and boating facility also. And the local community is benefiting out of that, because it is generating lots of employment, and they are having a alternative livelihood which is reducing the dependency on the lake. But in order to achieve management of water, land, and the society, we have to have a very, very robust and good institutional systems. And so we have been focusing on institutional development and governance in the last 3 years, and fortunately under the leadership of our new chairman, Shri Asnikumar ji, we have been successful in developing more linkage with the community. We have been building up good relationship with the local community also. So that's a turning point of after a long gap of community engagement. We have just finalized the integrated management plan, which we have been doing since last 2-3 years. And we have also, the report has been just submitted to an expert advisory committee, whose members are drawn from different disciplines, from social, biological, and scientific, many other streams, and it is headed by Professor Singh from IIT Kanpur. And we have started strategic planning with ADB mission. They had 3 missions in the last 1.5 years, and we'll be developing a sustainable plan for restoration of Loktak Lake, including the associated wetlands also, and this will be a very big project. It will be a mega project cutting across various line departments and sectors of development. And we have been engaged much on enforcing the extant rules and regulation. We have been evicting the illegal encroachers, certain construction within the wetland area, like the floating, which we call homestays, more than 40 of them. And we have been successful in expanding our ecological monitoring capacity by upgrading the laboratory, and this has become quite necessary because we have to update the Ramsar information system so that in order to initiate the process of removing, delisting Loktak Lake from the list of Montreux record. Major achievements and challenges in terms of institutions and governance, as I said, we have achieved in more on community engagement, higher cross-sectoral coordination through ADB, and we have a state cabinet committee to look after the boundary demarcation of Loktak Lake also. And we have started integrating the associated wetlands to a large extent, and boundary demarcation has we have advanced. We have started demarcation on the southwestern part of it. We completed it, and we started in the eastern side also. And we have finalized a regulatory regime based on the Wetland Conservation and Management Rules 2017. They're defining things to be regulated, things to be permitted, and things to be prohibited within the system. And we have, but there are challenges about the community livelihoods. In Loktak Lake, you have hardcore fishers, household, about more than 7,000 fisher families are there depending on the Loktak Lake completely. So it's a challenge to address their livelihood issues and to ensure participatory management. And cross-sectoral coordination is also a challenge because various line departments are coming off different projects or management interventions in certain areas. But I'm talking only not about the lake boundary only, but is the lake basin as a whole, because in the catchment area and the surrounding areas also, there are various line departments coming up with certain projects, but planning has to be done all together because all the projects has an impact, will have an impact on the ecosystem of the lake. So land and water management, we have been successful in maintaining the water regime in the central zone and rejuvenation of the drainage system. And we have been successful in augmenting the machineries required for maintaining those removal of fumdi as well as channels, desilting and deweeding. Challenge will be in terms of restoration of the hydrological regime. We have a water allocation plan, but unfortunately, Loktak is still, the outflow is controlled for hydroelectric generation. Water level is controlled for hydroelectric generation. And that modification of that hydrological regime, if it is not addressed, the ecosystem is behaving as if a reservoir, not as a natural wetland ecosystem. So that's the challenge. And we have issues of invasive species. We have talked about water hyacinth. It is still an issue, but somehow it is being contained by introducing weevils way back in 1990s. But still we are observing that the water hyacinth is taking over the lake with new vigor, and they have become much more powerful now. Maybe because of the reach of the sewage input into the system, and the resilience of the lake has, maybe it has weakened. And pollution loading, as our colleague from Manipur State Wetland Authority have shown us, still lots of things to be done. But for the most polluted river draining into the lake, Hon'ble River, they have a 17 MLD capacity sewage system, which is likely to be commissioned in about 1.5 or 2 years. Just a slide that this shows that IRS list for data, November 2020, the area of fumdi within the central zone was 16.56 square kilometer. But in March 23, Sentinel data shows it is 12.29 square kilometers. So we have been successful in containing the proliferation of fumdi within the central sector. Some key areas and aspects of support needed. Of course, we would like to have institutional support from the Ministry of Environment and Forest. For example, we had a technical advisory committee where a member has to be an official from the Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change. That is how the information flow, the involvement of the ministry was quite strong, but it has to be revived, I think. We can have many more strategic actions on institutional support. Technical support, of course, we would like to suggest we can have strategic partnership with knowledge partners on a not one-off event, but in a sustained manner. And financing, of course, unfortunately, LD mostly operates in a project mode. If we have a very good project, our activity is very, it becomes very active and good. But when there is no project, it goes into somehow in a very deep slumber type, So, I mean, from the ministry, I think we would like to suggest that at least wetland monitoring system is financially supported and it is sustained so that there is no interruption of data collection and monitoring of the ecosystem. Thank you. Okay.
Hydrological regime has to be restored or something like that. Because downstream there is a hydroelectric schemes you are mentioning. So how actually you are planning to restore that hydrologic regime? Any plan is there, or any discussion had been held with the electricity or that power department or something like that? Or what is the actually even maybe tail end that water now after production of this hydroelectric scheme or electricity, so that can be diverted back to the this particular lake, or is any project is maybe or envisaged on this type of aspect? No, that's the question. Because this is an issue which you are actually raising in for so many years. No? So what are your plans for maybe?
Let me answer you. We have been discussing this matter for a long time, at least for last 10-15 years. And our Joint Secretary have just said, if you want to restore the lake, you have to go to the natural system. You have to consider the natural system first. But okay, I mean, then the question arises of a trade-off, where if you desire to have a natural ecosystem, but because of the human demand, you have to compromise a bit, looking for a balance between the ecosystem requirement, ecological requirement, and the human demand. So that's something we have been thinking of, some trade-off, balancing the needs, or some equitable allocation of water. So in the water allocation policy, which was first formulated about 10 years back, again it was put forward as a water allocation policy about in 2005. And we initiated a process for stakeholder consultation. Various inputs were received from wildlife and forest department, from fisheries department, even from NHPC also, and various other agencies. So, okay, I mean, if you look at the hydrological hydrograph, you have a natural graph of pristine condition, and you have a graph which is the business as usual, which is going on right now. So in between, there is a possibility of finding a middle line. That is what we have been discussing about, and the only thing is it should be endorsed by all the stakeholders involved, because operation of that barrage is in the hands of NHPC, and the worst affected is the wildlife, because Kavilamja National Park is in the vicinity of this barrage. The park habitat is being affected, so they have a very huge stake in that operational policy. So altogether, we'll be working on it, and it is very important for delisting Loktak Lake from the Montreux record, because unless and until we address this issue, I don't think a good ecosystem recovery will not be possible.
Again, you have not come to the solution now.
See, let me tell you, there is no magic formula for doing something. Okay.
I tell you, actually, Professor Hari Kumar is also struggling with the same problem in Kerala. And same issue of barrage operation in Kerala.
Okay.
But Professor Hari Kumar, for the benefit of the this audience here, his problem has been solved to a great extent. The decision has been taken.
Sir.
And the barrage now will be operated in such a manner that starting November,
Sir.
this level will be reduced to that middle scenario that you said.
Right, sir.
And till January, it will be reduced till January,
Yes.
and it will go to the lowest possible, that is minimum drawdown level, and then again start filling up. So that decision has been taken, and today already Honorable Minister has given the statement, and it has come in newspaper also.
Right, sir.
So your problem is resolved, but Kerala problem is still to be resolved. Yeah. Vembanad Lake.
Okay,
He is also suffering from the same problem.
Yeah. You said Professor Asnikumar was one of the architects of the water allocation plan.
Yes.
Okay.
So thanks to your plan that
Plan.
it is almost done now.
Okay, sir.
I think we have finished in time.
Yes, sir.
But you can ask people to assemble in time, because then the valedictory session will start in time.
Sure.
We have to be here not at 2 o'clock so that we finish our everything by 4 o'clock, 3:45.
I think the lunch is ready.
Yeah.
We will break for lunch at 2 minutes earlier than the scheduled time.
We are on time.
Oh, yeah, on time, sir.
So very nicely moderated by
Okay, so, I love to walk off.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to announce a 30-minute lunch break to refresh ourselves and network with fellow participants. Please enjoy your meal and be back at 2 exact so we can run on schedule. Thank you so much.